Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. And today guys, we're going to be talking about the Galactic Legends. And this is going to be part one of a two-part series. So the first area we're going to cover is the Galactic Legend farming order. This is going to be updated as of November 2022. The goal of this is really to give you guys kind of tie into the free-to-play farming guide that I put down. I will link that in the description down below if you guys haven't seen that already. At the time I did that guide, either Jabba was like just announced, he wasn't in the game yet, or he was so new that it wasn't worth me trying to figure out where he belonged. Now that we've got Jabba the Hutt, we've seen how he interacts in the game, we know what's coming, what he's going to be needed for, I want to do a video to kind of talk about the order I would farm Galactic Legends in. We'll get a little bit into the, some of the other aspects of those GLs, but then part two will also be another Galactic Legend video where I'm going to be ranking them in terms of an overall ranking, and then also sort of show you guys the different pieces that went into that ranking. So hopefully these videos help you guys understand Galactic Legends, the farming order things, and hopefully it gives you guys perspective and gets you into the game faster. Now, one thing to note, guys, before we get into the video, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of November. And then, on the video, leave a like, leave a comment. Let's get in here. So, obviously, we need to pay homage to our King Wampa first. You are worthy of a Galactic Legend much more so than anyone else in this game because you are always in my heart, even if you aren't always in my team. Alright, so let's get in here and let's look at the farming order here. Alright, so the first Galactic Legend we're going to be looking at here, right, is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. In the Fat Phil approved farming guide, we want this to be our first GL for multiple reasons. Number one, guys, just going real quick, right, from a raid perspective, he can solo, his team can beat the heroic Sith raid, it can solo that, it'll solo the tank, all those things. He can also is very capable of doing more than 2% damage inside of any phase of the challenge pit raid. So he's going to be a really good GL to get early. What's really nice about him is that the First Order fleet is really, really good. And then also from the perspective of the other ships necessary for the finalizer, like the Houndstooth, Xanadu Blood, Slave One, and Vader's TIE Advance, like really good ships. And then finally, too, just the characters you farm up with him will form a team, right? That like the First Order characters we're going to use as part of his requirements are all really good with him. So he's also the cheapest Galactic Legend. So we want to farm Kylo Ren first. It just is so important. All right, next, guys. This is probably a little controversial. This is where some people won't agree with me, but Jedi Master Luke is next. And this is for multiple reasons. The GLs that maybe Kylo struggles against, right? Which at times can be Jedi Master Kenobi, right? Lord Vader a little bit, and also, guys, bear in mind, this is pretending Datacrons don't exist, because outside of Grand Arena and Territory Wars, right, Datacrons don't exist, so these characters make up for that, without Datacrons. But Jedi Master Luke without Datacrons can counter all the GLs that Kylo cannot. So by farming these two, you're going to have teams to beat every GL in the game. Jedi Master Luke probably also has the best requirements as far as Galactic Legends go. He does need Jedi Knight Luke, which makes him a very extremely expensive Galactic Legend. But Jedi Knight Luke, we get our King Wampa. You're going to have to farm Darth Vader. The entire Commander Luke squad is baked into these Jedi Master Luke requirements. We'll get the start of a Rebel fighter team, which gives us a half-decent Rebel fleet with Wedge, Biggs, the Y-Wing, stuff like that. This fleet is just, he's got a lot of really good stuff. And then from a Jedi perspective, he can be used with so many different Jedi that by farming him second, we're giving ourselves a lot of options moving forward on team composition and, viability inside of multiple different game modes. All right, so next one on the list, guys. This is the first one where we're going to be really breaking off is Jabba the Hutt. Jabba's requirements and Master Luke's requirements really kind of mesh together nicely. They need a lot of the same characters, right? Jabba also can completely just destroy. He dismantles Jedi Master Kenobi. There's not a lot of non-Galactic Legend counters for Jabba the Hutt. I have seen Inquisitors do it, but I believe that's actually Datacron dependent. So No non-Galactic Legend counters for him. He will struggle against Lord Vader, right? Daze really shuts his team down. And also, on defense at times, like teams like Kylo Ren, I've been able to use a First Order team and beat Jabba the Hutt. So he's a really good GL. We know he's going to be needed for the new territory battles coming up. He's a PvE king. They've added a lot of stuff for him. And so I think I'm putting him third to prepare everybody that by the time, if you're watching this and you're farming your first GL as Kylo, or you're following along in the Fat Phil approved farming guide, Jabba the Hutt's characters will probably be accelerated by the time that you're ready to start, farming him for the new territory battles. I think similar to where Geonosians were kind of that step to get you in good guilds with Geonosis TB, I actually think Jabba the Hutt and Hutt Cartel are going to be that marker or sign that you're ready to be in a really good guild for territory battles coming up. So Jabba the Hutt at the number 3 spot, guys. Very controversial there. All right, next is this. I have Jedi Master Kenobi and Lord Vader here in the 4th and 5th slots. This is where I think I'm okay if you do one or the other, right? That like I couldn't pick one of these to be clearly 4th or not for multiple reasons. If I start with Lord Vader, I do believe he's going to be needed for this new TB. He's really good PvE. He probably solos like territory battles, honestly. Like you don't really need a great team with him to solo territory battles. He's very good in raids. The thing that I think sets him into this, 4th, 5th slot, right, is that he has some non-Galactic Legend counters, right? There are some ways to counter him, whether it's with, Imperial Troopers, throwing Wat Tambor and Iden in there. You've got the Bounty Hunter counter, right? There's a few ways to get through him without using a Galactic Legend. Whereas Jedi Master Kenobi, without Datacrons, there's no way to beat him without a Galactic Legend. The flip side with Kenobi here, right, if we're going to, bash him a little bit, it's that Lord Vader has, Jedi Master Kenobi will not beat Jabba the Hutt, whereas Lord Vader will beat every Galactic Legend, right? So that's kind of where I'm drawing the line, is that Lord Vader offensively is a better GL, but Kenobi is a better defensive GL. That, you need a Galactic Legend to beat Kenobi, but he is beatable. Lord Vader, we don't necessarily need that Galactic Legend on defense to beat him, but offensively, he's beating anything in the game. So you can't go wrong either way. They are extremely expensive, but by the time that you're going to be ready to farm these characters, Relic 8s, Relic 7s will not be a problem. So I just can't separate them between, 4 and 5, because they're both amazing in the raids, right? I think PvE, I think Lord Vader's going to start to shine in this new territory battles, where Kenobi might not be as useful. We don't know yet. So 4th and 5th slots for me right there. And then last, we've got Rey and Sith Eternal. I actually had a very hard time where to put Rey in this list. Because she is these are both very economical Galactic Legends, especially compared to Vader and Kenobi, right? The problem we have with Rey, in my just personal opinion, is that she does have a lot of trash in her requirements, right? Like Resistance Pilot, they do have a nice fleet, right? The Resistance fleet is really good, but outside of the fleets, a lot of her requirements are just lackluster, or in my opinion, they're fillers, right? She is an amazing Galactic Legend. This is not me I think Rey's probably the second best GL on defense. She does have some non-GL counters, right? There are some non-GL counters for Rey, and I think that kind of knocks her down a bit, right? That when there's non-GL counters to a Galactic Legend, I automatically start rating them a little bit lower, because I think that, your Galactic Legend isn't worth as much on defense, right? Which means you got to use them on offense. Now, Rey with her lifter of Ben Solo, right? And yes, I will go back for a second. Lord Vader and Kenobi, right? Yes, they have lifters in Commander Tano and Maul that are way more important than Ben is to Rey. The difference here is, by the time we're going to be ready for these characters, you guys will have had plenty of time in what are those called? Proving grounds to get Commander Tano and Maul to 7-star. For Rey, she's not dependent on Ben Solo. The difference for me just comes down to the non-GL counters for her. And I think that requirements-wise, she starts losing a little bit. And then Sith Eternal is last. He's definitely the worst Galactic Legend. Kylo will, like, on defense, he's a complete liability. Complete liability on defense, to the point that you almost, like, if you don't put a really good team with him, I've used my Wampa to beat Sith Eternal. I mean, like, it sounds, you know, everybody's gonna, you know, yes, my Wampa, I know, right? He's very good, but your Wampa does not need to be really that good to beat, you know, Sith Eternal in Grand Arena if a Sith Eternal's on defense. It's very team dependent. And so for me, I think that makes Sith Eternal lose a lot of viability, that you really can't use him on defense. And then offensively, he's not beating Lord Vader. You need a very specific team to beat Kenobi. He really struggled, again, like, very specific team to beat Kylo. Very specific team, less specific to beat Rey, but certain compositions will give him trouble. Jedi Master Luke can pose a problem depending on relic levels. Like, he's just, it's crazy that he just really has lost a ton of viability in this game. Like, he was once the king of Arena. Like, it didn't really matter, but now with all these new things in the game, he just has really been left behind as a Galactic Legend. And it's unfortunate because his Rex are arguably just as good as Jedi Master Luke's. But for me, guys, that's the way I'd rank these GLs, right? So just going through the list one more time here, right? Kylo Ren is, you know, the one I would farm first, right? Just so much viability. We don't need all these different teams with him. His Rex are good. Gets us a good fleet. Jedi Master Luke is next because he's going to lead us into, you know, helps lead into Jabba the Hutt. He's going to counter any of the Galactic Legends that Kylo can't beat and gives us some amazing requirements along the way. Jabba the Hutt on the 3rd GL gets us into a really good guild for the coming territory battles. I also think that, you know, his Rex tie in really nicely with Jedi Master Luke, and the characters we farm for him will be used in his team, so that's a really big plus for us. In the 4th and 5th slots here, we've got Kenobi and Lord Vader, just coming down to how expensive they are and the need for lifter units comparative to the first 3 Galactic Legends that are not dependent upon Proving Grounds characters. And then in those last 2 slots, Rey and Sith Eternal. For Sith Eternal, he's there purely because he's the worst Galactic Legend. Like, not that all Galactic Legends were not created equal, and Sith Eternal is clearly bottom rung. Where he kind of ranks the same way as Rey is that Rey's much better than Sith Eternal, but Sith Eternal's requirements are easily probably second best behind Jedi Master Luke. But yeah, guys, that's my list. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. Again, subscribe. And as always, guys, remember, Wampa is king. May the Force be with you. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.